Hey everyone. So I recently just did a video on Pam's Pro Workout. I got it and I'm pretty amazed and impressed with this module. I've had a few days to play with it and get familiar with it, and I've been using it a lot with the DFAM and a whole bunch of other modules. But today I want to show off some of the things that I've been doing with the DFAM. So I took my DFAM out of its enclosure, put it into the rack right next to Pam so I can zoom in and show you what's going on. I've already got this patch set up, but I'm just gonna take it all apart and we're gonna build some patches from scratch. So my first inclination with Pam's Pro Workout was to do a full tutorial on it, but in fact, I really just don't think it needs it. It's so intuitive and easy to use that you can figure it out on your own. I do think it would be nice to show off some of the things it can do though. For the longest time, I thought it was just a clocking module. It's much, much more than that. Hopefully I can show you some things that it does that you might not have been aware of, and you can decide if it's something that you want to purchase. But it definitely fits really well with the DFAM. So let's just make some patches and see what we come up with. So before we even bring Pam's into the situation, let's dial in some type of rhythm. That's pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to zoom in on the patching area, Pam's, and the Mordax data because I want to show you what's going on. So I think this might be the best angle. I mean, this screen is so small. It's amazing to me that how easy it is to read. It's difficult in the videos. I'm going to try not to get in the way too much. But here you can at least see where I'm patching things, and I'll try to describe what's going on in the DFAM as well. So first I'm going to go in and just reset Pam's because I've been using it a lot and I don't even remember what all my settings are. So this is how you do it. You go to clock BPM and then you do a long press and you get your sub menu for all like your settings and everything. And if I go over to reset all, yes. And so now, if I click out of it again, everything should be, yeah, that looks reset. All right. Let's set our clock BPM at 100. And basically, I said this in the other video, but it's basically there's 8 outputs and you can kind of cycle through them and you do a long press of the knob to get to the sub menu. So let's jump in and we'll just have number 1. I'm going to clock everything through Pam's. So let's have number 1 be our main clock. So we're going to patch out of number 1 and go into the advanced clock. Now to get this right, we want to set it to ×4 because the way Pam's works, it's going on quarter notes, and we want this going ×4 to match what it typically is in the sound studio. So all you have to do, press it once and then you can scroll up to 4. Now, when we press Pam's, it should just advance like normal. Awesome. Now again, it's really unfortunate that the DFAM doesn't have a reset because you could just kind of set it to reset every time, but you still got to do the whole press the run stop button and advance it to the 8th step. It's still pretty nice to have this just so locked in and tight with everything else. So the first thing I want to go through that I've heard tons of people do all the time, I had never even done it before I got into Pam's, sending the pitch through a quantizer or putting a quantized pitch into your CVs right here. So there's a couple of different ways we could do it. We could actually come out of the pitch into the CV here and then put it out in a quantize mode. But I actually think it's better just to go from Pam's because you can do a random voltage quantized out of this and then you can loop that. Gotten some really good results. Plus on top of that, it allows us to use this pitch sequencer to modulate other things. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But if you really want to control your pitches, I had mixed results with it. You can still do it through the sequencer. The only thing is that, and this is one drawback that I've heard some other people say, is that Pam's is not bipolar. It's only positive voltage. So I just was getting weird results. I found that doing this worked really well. So I'm going to come out of number 2 And try not to block the screen. It's really challenging. Right there, do a long press. And we want this in stepped voltage. So I'm going to press here and select step voltage. Right there. Now, oh, I forgot. I'm also going to go back and set this to be at 4 as well, because I want it to match what's going on. Now on top, so then we'll go over to the Quantize menu. There's tons of different options, but you can also do a user-defined scale. So let's go on over to user 1. Something I've already programmed in, but let's go ahead and, if you do another long press on it, you can go through and actually pick out the notes. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a C minor 7 chord. So we'll have that be what the bass or what the notes are playing. And we'll get out of this. And now it's quantized. You can also change the probability. If we want to bring down, now this, it makes a ton of voltage. Let me plug it into the Mornex data to show you. So if I hit play, now it's not going into anything yet, but you can see, so this goes up to about 5 volts. So that's the range, and if we're going into this volts per octave or the CV, that, I mean, that's just a huge range. So what we want to do is turn down the level. I'll play it so you can see as I'm doing it. And we're going to keep it tight. Let's go to about 25. And then I'm going to come out of the data. So, I mean, if you don't have a Mornex data, then you can just plug directly into the CV from here. And let's plug into, and I'm going to turn down VCO 1. Here, I'm going to turn down the envelope so you can hear it. Turn down the noise. And there it's quantized. Now if we want to bring in more, and you can, of course, you can set the root note frequency by the frequency knob. That's what I just turned. I'm going to turn it back down to where it was, because I want it to be a lower tone like a bass. But let's set it back down to keep it really tight. And the other thing you can do is we can loop the beats. So let's say we wanted it to be a repeating phrase. Well, let's loop 4 beats. And there you go, it's looping. So if I start bringing the envelopes again, I'm going to bring in, I'm actually going to turn it to a pulse wave just so it comes out a little bit more. So right there, the quantizing feature alone is pretty awesome. let's look at another thing we can do. So if you saw my video where I focused on maths and the DFAM, I did some cool stuff with making dynamic hi-hats, going from basically taking the whole pitch to noise level patch and gaining some control over it by going into maths. Well, you can do a lot with that here. So let's use output number 3 to go into our noise level. And we're going to create some sort of hi-hat type things happening there. So the first thing we're going to want to do is go back to our main scroll screen. We'll go over to number 3. And there's a couple of different ways we can handle this, but let's start off just so you can hear what it's going to sound like. We'll go here. Why don't we go ×2 for this one. We'll go into the main screen, or to the sub menu, change the shape to something that's more like an envelope, like that. I mean, there's all kinds of other things. You can even do like ratchet kind of shapes. And again, you could also, you could still use maths and go into the CV1 and just select, CV2 or CV1 as your inputs for the shape. But let's use the built-in shapes for now. So we're going to set it like that. Now, right now, so actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and take this out. Now, I'm using the data because it has a nice big screen and because it's easy to show what's going on here and then also in the screen. So for the sake of the video, it's really good. But PAMS also has its own little scope. And it's not as precise as the data, but it sure helps just give you a sense of what's happening. But so right now, if we look at the data, that's what's happening with our noise levels. And that's not exactly where I want it because I want it kind of hitting on the offbeats. So there's a couple of different ways to take care of that. I'm going to show you both of them. So let's go into here, and what we can do is actually move the phase over. And this is great too because you have a tremendous amount of control over the rhythm. You can set it to 50%, which will put it on the offbeats. Or if you want it to be like a little bit rushed, you could kind of put it at 46 or something like that, or a little bit behind the beat. So you have a lot of control, but listen to it now. So it's hitting on the second step. And if I wanted to have it be like on the third and the seventh step, then all I would have to do is go back in here and rather than turning it to ×2, just put it on ×1. Because setting the phase at 50% basically has it be halfway through whatever divisor you're using. So let's play it now, and you can hear that the noise level will kick up on those offbeats. So that's pretty cool. The other way you could do it is, here, let me show you the other way because it's kind of cool. Let's set this to 2. I think that's what I want to do. We'll see if it works out. And we'll set the phase back down to 0%, so it's not going to be messing around with that. But we're going to go to Euclidean steps. And so I've been looking a lot into Euclidean rhythms, and basically this is kind of just an oversimplification of it. But basically it's you take a certain amount of steps or a certain amount of time or whatever, and you figure out how many hits are going to happen in it, and then you spread it out evenly. You space all those hits evenly within that space. That's my understanding anyway. So let's set our Euclidean steps to something even, like 8. So that's the amount of time it's going to take. And then the number of triggers we'll set to number 4. Okay, and I hope you can see this, but you can see that the hits are coming on every other one. And then you could set a pad in it if you wanted to. So go through the pattern and then give a little bit of a pad. But we're going to do Euclidean shift, so you can actually just move it right over. Now, this isn't the greatest example of Euclidean rhythms, because by Euclidean rhythm standards, it's kind of boring because it's so evenly spaced. And if you wanted something cooler, you would do some sort of weird division like, 7 and 5 or something like that. But we can mess around with that later. Right now, we're just sort of using this function to accomplish a certain thing that we want to do. So let's hear what it sounds like now. And that's giving us those noise levels on. All right. So now we patched into noise. Let's patch into something else. So let's talk about the FM amount. So while I'm playing this, I'm going to mess around with the knob. So you kind of heard what it sounded like when I turned the knob of the FM amount a little bit. So let's have that be modulated by number 4. So I'm going to plug those in. So we're on number 4. Geez, what should we do for this one? Let's do 2 steps. And let's have the shape be like that. And you know what? Let's do Euclidean rhythm for this too. We'll do Euclidean steps of, let's do something weird this time. We'll go 7, triggers of 3. No, let's do 5. We'll put in a little bit of a pad, and then we'll shift it over. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Let's see what that sounds like. I'm going to turn the hard sync on. Actually, I want the bass line to come out. So I don't want the hard sync on, because then we're only going to be hearing what's going to be going into VCO1. Actually, you know what? Let's plug this into VCO1. That sounds pretty cool. I'll zoom out at the end and you can get a sense for like where the patch is at and everything. So you can kind of hear that FM amount. The hard sync's on, so it's a little bit more of a subtler effect. Let's turn the hard sync off and play it. Oh, that's pretty cool. And just for fun, let's try a different shape. So here we go. I'm gonna play it again. That's with hard sync on, hard sync off. Well, I like that. That's pretty awesome. So we're going to keep that. All right, let's see what else we can patch. We'll go from number 5 into, why don't we do VCA decay? And so for this one, let's do something different. We could have this one be, actually, you know what? Let's do step 4. So it's going to be going through the same type of steps, but we'll have it be another envelope with a longer decay. And this one, I think we should let's do the probability down to like 75%. So it's not going to hit on every single time. Actually, to make this effect really come out, I want to go back in here and turn this down. And I know you probably can't see it with the camera and all the patches, but there are the LEDs lighting up, so I can see how often it's happening with the probability. And then if we go back in here, we can also turn this. I want the width. Right now it only goes to 50%, so I'm going to bring that up. It has that steady decay, so we'll go to 90%. I'm going to turn it down. You know what? Let's go into the data so we can see what's actually happening. You can also invert the phases too. Let's try turning the VCA decay up on this one and inverting the phase. And doing this, I'm not going to do it in this video, but I did give an example of this with maths. If you wanted to duck the bass, then you could invert a phase from, an envelope like that and send it into send it into the VCA CV of another of your bass, and that would create that pulsating motion that would be going locked in with the DFAM. But for right now, let's just invert this. Yes, I want to invert it. And this is what it would look like. All right, let's hear what it sounds like now. So you can see it's an upside down envelope. You know what? I'm actually going to set this. Let's set this down to 1. I'm going to turn the inversion off. Yeah, I think I like it better not inverted. And let's modulate our cutoff. So we're going to go into the VCF mod, because when you plug into the VCF mod, that's what modulates the cutoff. So for this one, let's go to number 6. Why don't we have, let's have it, maybe we can have this one be, there is a random voltage that's not stepped. That would be kind of fun. So let's see what that sounds like. And this one too, we could turn down the level so it's not as dramatic. You know what? Let's take a look at what that looks like. So I'm going to go into the data. Let's see. So you can see when it's set to loop beats, it actually is looping it. But you could even do something. I think that one's pretty cool for right now. Let's turn the level down a little bit. Actually, I can do that with the attenuator. All right. So another cool function that you can do, go here, I think it's in here, is you can do, let's see, flex operations. So these are like timing things. Now, I don't know, I haven't figured out a way yet to kind of go in globally and set all of them at once. It's fairly easy just to scroll through and set each one to the same value. But there's different things like human where you can mess up, have it introduce human errors. Swing, have it ramp up or ramp down. Hump. So let's just try and introduce some human errors. Right now, I'm only doing it on the main clock that's going into the advance. And it's only set to 25%. But let's hear what that sounds like. And let's actually ramp it up a little bit. So you can see that it's getting a little bit arrhythmic when it's up at 100%. So let's just set it down to 25%. And let's hear what it sounds like at the swing. And you can, so to change all of the settings, it's nice and easy because you can just hold down this button and you can go to the next one and change it to swing. And go to the next one and change it to swing. Hold it down, go to the next one, change it to swing. And there might be a better way to do this. I just haven't found it yet. And it's not like it takes a whole lot of effort. But now let's see. Now all of them are swinging at 25%. Let's hear what it sounds like. All right, I'm going to zoom out so we can play around with the DFAM settings. So again, this video, of course, isn't exhaustive. You could just do so much. There's so much flexibility for what each of those 8 outputs can do. And I mean, you could route them to anything. And then the things that I didn't show is that you can route into these CVs to have it control different things. So that's something to think about too. Right now, I'm just going to play around with some of the DFAM settings to try and dial in these sounds with these modulations going on. So there you go. There's some fun patching ideas. I mean, I really think for a while there, I thought maths was the perfect companion for the DFAM, but now I'm starting to think Pam's Pro Workout is. It's just really, it just lends itself really well to modulating the DFAM. It's such a great hub for my entire rack. It's really, I've just had such a blast playing with it over the past few days. So I hope this gives you an idea of what it's capable of and how you could use it with the DFAM. Again, this is not an exhaustive video, but I just wanted to kind of show you what it's capable of. And if you decide to go out and purchase it, that, you know, you can come up with your own ideas. If you do decide to purchase it, I put affiliate links for Perfect Circuit in my descriptions. I'd really appreciate it if you could click through that link and purchase it. It gives me a small tip and it's no additional cost to you. I've also just recently updated all my patch books on my Patreon page. As of April 2023, I have 23 patches for the DFAM and some diagrams for working with maths. I also have some Sound Studio patches and subharmonicon patches, and I'm going to be updating those PDFs on a monthly basis. It's just my way of giving back to people who want to support my channel. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, or you want to support the channel, please check it out. I really appreciate it. It helps offset the cost of making videos. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so below, and let's play it out.